Moin Moin and welcome to Ralfs Foto-Bude. Today I present you the newest DSLR from Canon. It's the Rebel SL1. Canon called it the smallest and lightest DSLR in the market. I don't know if it's true, but for sure it's a very small and a lightweight DSLR camera. You can compare it to the T5i, so that's also a new model of the Canons. And you see it's a little bit smaller, it's a little bit less high. If you compare it like this, you see it's like this part of the camera, it's a little bit smaller. It's a real lightweight camera, and one of the reasons why the camera is so small and so light is because the screen on the back side is a fixed screen. You don't have the turnable screen like you have on the T5i. You see the screen on the T5i is a turnable screen, and the one on the SL1 is a fixed screen. But the real good thing is it's a touch screen. You see, you can put the finger on it and you can change the different settings just by touching the screen. So that's very easy to handle. That's very nice to handle because you can work really fast. You don't have to go in the menus. Just by touching the screen you can change the different settings of the camera. So I like this feature very much. One thing you see here, it's 18 megapixel sensor in the APS-C format. So that's the same format in the pixel amount like the T5i has. So let's have a quick look to the different dials and the different buttons. First we go to the side of the camera. On this side we have the different connections. You have the HDMI, USB, then you have the remote, and the real good thing, you have external microphone jack, so you can put an external microphone for videoing on the camera, so you have a real good sound if you take videos with an external microphone and the SL1. On top of the camera, let's turn it around like this. On top of the camera you have the ISO button, you have a small dial, the shutter release, the program dial, on-off switch, and the switch to go in the video mode. Yeah, on the back side you have the menu button. If you press the menu button you see that's the usual Canon menu on the DSLR, so that's no surprise. The menu looks on every DSLR of Canon looks always the same, so that's not a real big surprise. Then just go this way, you have the info button where you can change the different settings of the control monitor. Let's go to this setting. Then on the other side you have the live view button. If you press the live view button the camera goes in the live view mode. Then you have the button for the autofocus fields. So here you can make the autofocus point selection from one point to, if you press the middle button here, to every automatic selection, so the camera makes a selection by herself. Then you have the button to measure the aperture and shutter speed. Here is the correction button. If you press the button you see the small signs on the left and right side of the display, and then you can turn the dial here in front and make the correction. You see, that's very easy. Then you have the replay button and the trash button. And one thing, if you have a look at the T5i, you have the quick menu button here. That's the one with the Q on it. The SL1 doesn't have a quick button by itself. You only have the set and Q button in the middle. So if you press the Q button, you're in the quick menu. Then you can navigate through the menu with a 4-wheel button and press the point if you want to change something. Just press the button like this. If you go to the auto correction, then press, and then you have the different settings which you can change. Or again, you can use, that's much easier, you can just use your fingertip and change the different settings by just pressing the touch screen. So that's very easy to handle. So there are less buttons for the beginner who uses first a DSLR. It's much easier. You don't have a load of different buttons. The camera is a little bit more easy to use because you don't have to remember what button is this for and what is this for. So it's a little bit easier to use for the beginner, and I think the beginners will enjoy the less function buttons and the less buttons here and there, and so I think it's very easy to handle. Yeah, just have a look at the program dial. You have the program mode where the camera set aperture and shutter speed by herself. Then you have TV and AV for the presets of shutter speed or aperture. Then you have M for the manual setting of aperture and shutter speed. So that's very easy. You see the blue arrows shows that if you turn the dial, this one here on top, if you turn the dial, you change the shutter speed, and if you press the correction button, you see the arrow turn to the aperture. So and then you can turn the dial and you change the aperture. So that's very easy to handle the manual mode. So in the next point we have the scene modes, and in the scene modes you have special scene modes, and the special scene modes are this one. You have beginning with the kids, then you have you have kids, you have food, candlelight, night portrait, handheld night scene where the camera take 4 consecutive shots without a tripod and combine it to one picture, and then you have the HDR backlight control for a little bit more brightness in dark areas, and so that's very nice to have at night. Next point on the dial are the main programs. The main program is Sport. Then the next one is Close-Up or Macro mode. Then you have Landscape, and the last one is Portrait here in the Portrait mode. So these are the 4 main programs for shooting. Then you have the CA, that's a creative auto. There you can set different creative programs. So if you go here to just go to the quick menu, then go up to there, and you can set. It's a little bit difficult, I think, but okay. Once you've used to it, I mean it's okay. So you have the creative filter, soft focus. You have the picture style. You have picture style monochrome. You have the miniature effect. Then you have landscape, monochrome. You have a toy camera effect. So these are the different settings for the custom or for the creative mode. If you go to the creative mode, like the toy camera mode, and here are in the mode, if you go to the live view, you will see the result directly on the screen. So you see there's the result of the toy mode. You will see directly, and again here the arrow says if you turn the dial, you can change between the different settings. You see that's grainy black and white, that's vivid, monochrome, fisheye effect. That's nice if you take pictures of a nose, the real big nose. So you can change the different settings a little bit faster if you're in this mode and not in the mode before where you have the different settings on the screen. So in this way it's very easy to change the settings. Yeah, then they have the picture, the flash mode off, so where the camera takes no flash, and you have the green mode, the green automatic mode, and in the green automatic mode the camera does everything by herself. So exposure, aperture, ISO, color and everything by herself, so you don't have to take care about anything of the camera. The SL1 makes it by herself, so that's very easy to handle, and that's the mode if you only want to take picture and don't care about and don't think about it what to do. Yeah, if you press the Q button again, you have the most important settings directly here on the screen. So you have the autofocus mode, you have the drive and self-timer mode, you have the picture quality, flash firing, and that's it. And again, if you're in the different settings, you have different possibilities to change. So if you're in the P mode, you have the most of the settings you can make. So you have again autofocus mode, you have the self-timer, you have the metering mode where you can change between the different metering settings. You see you have the center weighted average, you have the spot metering, you have the partial metering, and a relative metering. So these are the different points. Then you have the image quality, then you have the white balance, picture style, and auto lighting optimizer if you want to take this, and the creative filters. So you see, if you go on this, you don't have to go up there to the creative filters. You can use the creative filters also in the program mode, and I think that's a little bit easier because you have the miniature effect, toy camera effect, water painting effect, arc bolt effect, fisheye effect, soft focus, and grainy black and white, and that's it. And it's very easy to change between the different settings. And again, you can also use your finger and just touch on the different setting you want, and that's it. So very easy to handle. I like the touchscreen very much, and I like how Canon made the touchscreen and made the menus for the touchscreen. I like this very much, and I think it's a very nice function, and it works real nice. Yeah, so these are the main functions of the camera. If you go to the video mode, in the video mode you have the different settings of the picture quality. You have full HD with 25 frames per second, progressive for sure. You have 24 frames per second, and you have the small HD size 1280 by 720 with 50 frames per second, and then you have the small size 640 by 48 with 25 frames per second. So these are the different settings for the video mode, and you can make a video snapshot. You have the white balance again, and you can use different picture styles also in the video mode, and you don't have not so many possibilities to change the different settings, but it's enough. And I think I'm very interested to see how the video mode works on this, because Canon says they have a different kind of sensor, and the sensor has like a face detection built in, so it should be very fast, they say. But I'm very interested to see how the SL1 works on video, because usually DSLRs are a little bit more difficult in the video mode because of the autofocus problems. They are not so fast and not so precise in the autofocus like a system camera like a Panasonic G6. Talking about the Panasonic G6, that's the next camera in my photo booth, and I will show you this one too. And one important thing, I compare the SL1 and the G6 because they have almost the same size, same weight, and lots of my readers of my internet site ask me, what's better, a DSLR or a system camera with interchangeable lenses? And I will give you the answer. In Germany, I have the answer on my internet site with a long test. And on my YouTube channel, I give you a review of both of the cameras. and I give you a review where I compare the cameras, the G6 and the SL1 together, and I explain the different pros and cons of both cameras. I think I will be ready on Sunday or Monday, so come back again and you will see a very interesting comparison of the both cameras, a DSLR on the one side and a system camera, or like Panasonic says, DSLM for mirrorless camera on the other side. Yeah, I hope my short review of the Canon Rebel SL1 gives you a first impression of the camera, helps you a little bit to see if this is the right camera. And for sure, after the test, I give you a little bit longer review with some more information also to the picture quality and to the video quality, and maybe some tips and tricks how to work with the Canon camera. So thank you for watching me. Come back again on my YouTube channel and on my Flickr account. There you see a lot of pictures and videos, and have some fun by taking pictures, and so long, see you later, and moin moin!